Welcome everybody to this yoga class. We'll be moving as well as holding postures, and hopefully you're in a lovely sunshiny place as well. We're in Supta Baddha Konasana. Stretch your arms and legs away from you slowly, feet to the ground, and knees drop from side to side. And then your knees drop to the right and stay there. You could always bring your right foot on top of the left knee if you wanted as well. But then other side already. I should have said that earlier, shouldn't I? And yeah, here too, you could bring your left foot on top of the right knee. And then from here, right knee on top of the left. Hips might move over to the right if you wanted a slightly deeper twist. So just dropping the knees to the left side. And the head could turn to the right. Some people like stretching the arms out to the sides as well, just to get that feeling of the arms and shoulders grounding you. I've got a pool in the way, not that I'm bragging. And then coming over to the other side, again, hips could slide to the left if you wanted, and the knees drop to the right. And just warming up, just starting to feel your body and the sensations that we're creating here through the stretches. And always be aware of your breath. Remembering that, it's normal for the breath to change, of course, the more we move. And when we're holding postures, we really want to feel that stillness in the posture and the calmness of the breath. So feet on the ground, knees up. We hug the knees in towards us and gently rock from side to side. And then again, nice and gently, push the knees out and back in. Raise your arms and raise your legs and move into your fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, and slowly raise your head, your neck, your shoulders, your upper back off the ground, arms to the front, legs down and up. And of course, this is a little bit harder than if we were bending the legs, so that is absolutely an option. Just do whatever you do slowly and with control so that you notice if your neck is uncomfortable or it's too much for the core. Now slowly up, bending the legs to make it easier. Balance on the tailbone, shoulders down, palms open to the front. And you could straighten the legs, but you don't have to. So any variation of a boat is fine. Now inhale, raise your arms. And exhale, open up to the right side. Inhale, arms go up. And exhale, open up to the left side. So this is the harder, more challenging version. You could bring the feet to the ground and bring that backhand to the ground as well, just about twisting. So comfortable where you are, wherever you want to be. And then cross your legs and get comfortable here. Breathe in, draw a little circle or half circle with that left hand, taking it over to the right side. And we could make that bigger, and then here, same on the other side. Roll your shoulders to the back. And then change that way you're sitting here, and then right arm guides the way to the left side. We start with slightly smaller movements. We could then make it a little bit bigger, taking it to the back, letting the head look up, and then over to the other side. So exactly as we did on the other side. And roll up through the spine. Sit nice and tall, hands onto the shoulders. Draw circles with your elbows. Elbows could touch every time you go to the front. Just feeling the shoulders warm up. Arms to the front and fingertips go onto the shoulders. Quite fast, but keep your breath quite steady. Arms to the sides and same here. And we can turn our head from one side to the other. Keep it gentle. Inhale, raise your arms, and exhale, press the elbows down into a W shape. We raise the head as the arms go up. We drop the head as the elbows go down. And then pull your left arm to the right side. Feel a stretch into the rib cage, move into your neck. And over to the other side, pulling the right arm over to the left, creating space in the right side. And back, arms reach high and float down. Breathe in, raise your arms, look up. Breathe out, float the arms down, look down. Inhale and exhale, hands to the heart center and fingertips down. We drop our left ear to the left shoulder. Shoulder doesn't come up, so keep your shoulders relaxed. And if you feel too much of a stretch into your top of the hand, into the wrists or forearms, then bring the hands a little bit further down. Chin to collarbone, chin to chest, and over to the other side. So right ear to right shoulder where we're holding. And then slowly bring your chin to the collarbone, to the chest, and move into your wrists, dropping the head. Pull your left wrist to the right side, pull your right wrist to the left side. And then slowly come onto all fours from here. Aligning your wrists and shoulders, knees and hips. Move in a circle to feel that, not just in the hips, but also in your wrists. Change directions. And then arch your back and look up, round your back and drop the head. And we know it well, that marjariasana, that cat. Breathe in, raise your right arm and reach the fingertips high and fill your lungs with air. And on an exhale, guide the right arm to the left side, hover first, and then release your head and your arm to the ground. Walk your left hand forwards and over to the right side. If you open the palm to the ceiling, you'll have a lovely rotation in your shoulder. That'll feel good. But keep your nails on the ground, fingernails. And then release. Coming back onto all fours and raising the left arm. Lots of space for your breath to expand the body. And then over and hovering first, head and arm over to the right side. And then we drop down, walk the right hand to the front, open the palm to the ceiling, and send it to the left as far as is comfortable for you. So the fingernails should stay in touch with the ground. The moment they rise, you stay. And we come back onto all fours, round your back, drop the head, and arch your back. Tuck your toes under, raise the knees. This is optional, so knees could stay on the ground, but if you want to do a little bit more, you could arch and round again in marjariasana with the knees on the off the ground this time. So whichever one you prefer. Sometimes more challenging postures or movements will make us more aware, so that's when we can use them, not because we want to be competitive. That's never a good reason. So right foot goes up and the knee goes to the dropped head in vyagrasana, inhaling and arching, exhaling, rounding, so as before. Now knee to the right shoulder. And then straighten the right leg to the back, left arm to the front in dandayam, bharmanasana, balancing tabletop. We might grab hold of the right foot with the left hand. It's just another option. And keep breathing. Release and take a moment here to get ready for the other side. And when you are, that same movement of the breath and the movement of the body adjusts. Inhaling, we bring the left foot to the head or towards the head. Exhaling, we bring the knee first to the dropped head, then to the left shoulder. And then straighten your left leg to the back, right arm to the front. We hold here or we bind. But again, we remember there's not one pose that is better than the other, just because you may find it more challenging. The reason we choose to go into something more challenging should have to do with our awareness of the body and how it can help us be more aware. Release and give yourself a moment here. Move into your body in any way you like. freestyling. And then tuck your toes under and hips go all the way up. And we straighten the legs and walk our heels into the mat one by one. Remembering it doesn't matter how flexible you are here. You just want to get that feeling of the tailbone pushing up and the arms lengthening and the spine lengthening. So just, again, giving ourselves that opportunity for space in the body that we want to feel. And roll forwards into a plank, gentle bend of the arms, elbows towards the back, and we push ourselves back up. You may recognize this warm-up from another video, but we take it into something completely different. Bend your arms a little bit more and back up. And every time we do this, obviously if it gets too much, the knees can come to the ground. And here a full chaturanga dandayam. And we inhale and arch our back and drop the hips. Head goes up. We come down, so legs onto the ground. Reach for your feet. And this is quite a deep one to begin with, so you don't have to have that connection here. You could just raise the hands towards the back and the feet up. And then from here, cobra and tuck the toes under and step into downward dog or mountain pose. Breathe in, raise your right leg. Move into your ankle and into the toes, and then flex your foot, drop the heel. And nice and slowly walk your right hand into the middle of the mat. Keep it there, or if you feel stable, grab hold of your right ankle. Hand comes down, step to the front, and from here inhale into Asana and into a high lunge. We exhale and press the elbows down, and then hands to the ground. Breathe in, raise your right arm. And as you exhale, step into a side plank. Right arm could go to the front for a deeper stretch. Now step that right foot behind you and arch. And into chaturanga with maybe the right leg off the ground. Inhale and arch. Exhale, push the hips up. Breathe in, left leg goes up. And we do the same thing, giving ourselves a bit of movement into the ankle and toes. Then flexing and dropping the foot towards that butt cheek. And really slowly, just shifting the weight into the right hand. The most important thing is that your neck is still comfortable here. You're not coming forwards more with the shoulders. Step your foot to the front and inhale into that high lunge, the horse in motion. Exhale, press the elbows down, a little arch, and then bring the hands to the ground. Breathe in, raise your left arm and look up. Breathe out and slide into a side plank. You could always bring that lower leg to the ground as well. And then that lovely vyagrasana where we're opening the torso to the ceiling a bit. Drop into chaturanga dandayam, arch into upward dog, and push the hips up into bharmanasana or vyagrasana. Breathe in, right leg goes up. Breathe out, flex the foot, drop the heel. Again, you've got the option of raising that right arm. Step the foot behind you, arch your back, drop the head. Maybe a little deeper than the first time, maybe not. From downward dog, obviously different than from a side plank. Right foot to the front, back into our lovely Asana. And from here, open up into warrior two. Inhale into reverse warrior. And exhale into an extended side angle. Any variation here is fine. So your arm could rest on your leg. It doesn't have to be coming down so far. But if you're there anyway, grab a bind and step to the front to raise that right leg. And if you don't want to do that, just forward fold at the front of the mat and come into a tree where your right foot doesn't have to go up to the ceiling. It can just be at your left leg somewhere. Release and come into Garurasana from here. Right leg on the left, right elbow on the left. And we sink down. Inhale, raise your arms. And exhale, elbows to the belly button. We're rounding the back and dropping the right foot and coming into a comfortable forward fold from which we raise the right arm and bend the left leg. Drop your head, raise your left arm, bend your right leg and back down. Inhale, raise your arms, come up. Exhale, hands to the heart center, jumping the feet together. Breathe in, raise your arms. Breathe out, fold forwards. breathe in, step your left foot to the back and drop your knee to the ground. Reach the arms to the back and maybe on an inhale, arching your back. Of course, we do only as much as we want here. Everyone's back is precious, so don't overdo it. Hands to the ground. Push your hips to the back to straighten your right leg. And then maybe coming a little bit deeper here. Again, I'm just giving the deepest option here because this is something you could do. But of course, this is a lot for the beginning of a class and also a lot for a beginner. We don't ever have to think that we have to go super deep. And from here into a very well-deserved child's pose. No matter where we were, we would have gone quite deep. Tuck your toes under, push the hips up. And then from here, I'm just going to change sides because I know we're coming into that vyagrasana again. So inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, flex the foot, drop the heel. This is completely optional, the left arm going up, but we step that left foot behind us. We arch the back and just breathe into that lovely arch. Flip over, coming. Yes, I made a mistake there, didn't I? No chaturanga. Step that left foot to the front and raise the arms, and we open up from here into warrior two. Inhaling into reverse warrior and exhaling into an extended side angle. Again, we don't have to have that hand on the ground. And there's always options to have that same asana just look different to make it more gentle. A bind can help, but we can also just step to the front into a forward fold and then come into a tree where the left foot is on the right inner thigh or lower leg, or we could keep our bind and raise that left leg high. It occurs to me that I should have done that on the other side so that you could have seen a bit better, but hey, Garudasana, eagle pose, left leg on the right, left arm on the right, knees together, elbows together. We inhale and raise the arms. And we exhale and bring the elbows to the belly button and drop that left foot, forward fold here, hands to the ground. Inhale, raise your right arm, bending the left leg. Exhale, come down. Inhale, raise your left arm, bending the right leg, and exhale, come down. Breathe in, come up to standing. And breathe out, feet together, hands at the heart center. Inhale, arms go up. And exhale, float the arms down, hands onto the hips. We breathe in, coming into a deeper back bend. Try to test whether you want to squeeze your glutes here or not, what's more comfortable. And slowly out of that back bend, reach the arms to the front. Long spine. Inhale, spine stays long as we drop into a chair, bending the legs, hips to the back, weight in the heels. We've moved enough, now we're holding postures for a bit longer. It also means your breath and heart rate will slow down. And of course, we're paying close attention to both. Hands come to the heart center. We inhale and open up to the right side. So you want to make sure that your feet and knees are together. Try not to let that left knee come further forwards, but be comfortable. Adjust something to a place that you're comfortable in. Back into the chair pose, Utkatasana, actually fierce, hands to the heart center, and from here, open up to the left side. So Utkat, fierce pose, but we're not fierce in the jaw, keep yourself relaxed. Inhale, back up, but the hips can sink further down. They don't have to. Try and keep your heels on the ground, and on an exhale, hands to the ground, step your right foot to the back. Hips down as you inhale and raise the arms. And hold. So really giving you the option to let that posture unfold in everything that means. Everywhere that we're stretching, everywhere that we're strengthening the body, and everywhere that we can feel the breath. And all the while aware of the heartbeat as well. Hands to the ground, step into a plank. Hold that plank too. Not forever, I promise. Nothing's forever. Space between the shoulder blades, and the hips neither drop nor go too high. But definitely feel free to drop the knees to the ground already. That's where we're going to go in a while anyway. So if it gets too much, don't strain yourself. Good. And then knees, chest, chin. Elbows high, hands next to the shoulders, and space obviously underneath the hips. We might come further forwards with the knees if we want. And then we raise our toes and we raise the arms if we want. So it's not called Ashtanga Namaskar for no reason. Ashtanga, 8 parts salute, 8 parts of the body are touching the ground. It's fine for you to stay there. Hands come down. We drop our hips and raise the feet, knees apart. Push your torso up. Hands can walk further forwards. You want to keep your hips heavy and drop the head towards the feet. No, you don't have to look like this. Keep breathing. Make sure it's possible to breathe here. If it isn't, that's kind of a sign that you've gone too far. And release and push yourself into child's pose. Arms to the sides of your body so that you can feel the shoulders relax, and turn your head to the left so that the shoulders can drop a little bit further down. And head to the right, just to even out the sides. And we round the back and rise, coming up onto our lower legs, and torso and legs stay in one line as we send ourselves back. You want to feel that in the quads. When I say legs, I obviously mean just the thighs. Stay there. This should be quite tough work for you. And then come back forwards, and we tuck the toes under, potentially, and bring our right hand to the left foot, and then left arm up and draws a little circle to join at the back there, left hand on left foot. And obviously if you need more, push the hips to the back, but then the idea is to push the hips to the front so that they stay on top of the knees. We'll do the same on the other side, don't worry. So you've got a chance to do it again. But first, just onto all fours, rounding the back a little bit, moving into the hips. And then we go again, coming up. This time raise your arms up to the ceiling, or sky in my case, and come to the back. You'll notice that's even harder. So you want to make sure the hips don't drop. Keep that straight line from the knees all the way to the shoulders, or in this case to the fingertips, and back forwards. And then we don't want to feel the quads as we take that left hand to the heel or the whole of the sole of the foot. And then the right hand drops as well. We push the hips to the front. You obviously have the option here of tucking the toes under to raise the heels a little bit to make that easier. Make sure your neck is comfortable here. I'd suggest not dropping the head to the back. You could even bring the chin to the chest. And then right arm goes up, left hand comes up, and we come back into bharmanasana, gently rounding the back and moving the hips from side to side. It's a very back bend heavy class, this. I hope you're enjoying this. Tuck your toes under, push the hips up, and lengthen the arms and the spine. And the legs, as always, as long as they can be, but with a bend in the legs if you need it, and with space underneath the heels if you need it as well. And then on an inhale, raise your right leg, keep it up there and get super long. And then from here, flex your foot, drop the heel, straighten the leg again, point the toes, and look to the front, step to the front, left heel to the ground before we come up into Warrior One or Virabhadrasana. We could have the hands on the hips. In fact, that may help us open up a little bit. So maybe, arms up is fine as well, but just open the torso to the side a little bit, to the right side, and look to the back. And then your left hand could be on your right hip as well, if that helps. Deepen that twist and make sure your left leg is comfortable. Now straighten the right leg and slide down with that left hand, and decide if the left hand wants to be on the outside of the right foot or the inside as you make your way into a comfortable Parivritti Konasana, deciding if you'd like to bind here. So just as an option, but of course it's fine not to do that. And for those who don't have a block for underneath the bottom hand, you can of course also bend that front leg a little bit. Same here, legs are straight as they can be. For those who want to deepen, reach for that back leg. But if you don't want to deepen, and if this is far too much for the hamstrings, then just bring your hands onto that front leg instead. So that's a nice option to keep the back straight and keep yourself from just thinking, okay, the head needs to be really close to the legs. It doesn't have to be. So this needs to be your way of stretching comfortably into your hamstrings. And we come forwards a little bit with that right hand to raise the left arm and left leg. Flex the foot, maybe raise your right hand. Easier, of course, to keep the hand on the ground or to raise it, but depends on where you want to be. Now raise the arms, straighten up, and hands to the heart center. And from here we inhale and raise the arms again. And on an exhale, we fold forwards. Step your left leg to the back, and then nice and gently hips sink down as you exhale, and we raise the arms on an inhale. Don't overthink the breath either. Often what comes intuitive is that anyway. All we want is to really be aware of the breath. So where you're inhaling, where you're exhaling is not that important, as long as you're breathing and you feel the breath keep flowing through your body. And hold a bit longer in that deep Asana, and then hands to the ground, step the right foot to the back, dropping into chaturanga. Again, remember, especially because we're holding, knees can be on the ground. Don't make that mistake of dropping the hips and losing that lovely alignment. So very much in control here in that low plank. Keep feeling your breath. If you're still with me, drop your knees, drop your chest and chin. Interlock the hands behind you this time. And again, that's optional. Toes and hands can be on the ground. You might be able to bring that right foot between your hands there. And doesn't that feel lovely? Maybe not. If it doesn't, then release. And if you're still with me, then of course, release into the other side as well, or at least give it a try. And you need to stabilize yourself quite a bit here in the hips. So if you're raising that left leg, then you want to make sure that the hips stay aligned. That's going to help that whole alignment in the posture and the balance you want. Hands to the ground, knees down. We stretch out the legs and raise them a little bit, then apart as we raise our chest. And then push your hips to the back. Knees or feet can be together or apart, whatever works here in your own variation of child's pose. As you stay in child's pose, just be aware of the breath, not just in your belly where you can feel it probably against your legs, but also in your back. We sometimes forget that so much of our lung capacity sits there. And then round your back, tuck the toes under, push the hips up. A little bit longer here. And then, as you may have guessed, raise your left leg, reach it up high. We can flex the foot here for a moment. And then point the toes again, straighten up. Nice and long. And then on an exhale, step your foot to the front, right heel to the ground. We come up into our warrior, or gracious hero. We might then change what the arms are doing. And again, that's optional, but what we want to do is open up the torso a little bit to the left side, looking beyond the left shoulder. Here, another option, the arms could go to the front. But again, if you're comfortable twisting like that and reaching the arms up high, that's great. Just that sometimes it's helpful to use the hands in a different way. For example, you want that left hand on the right hip, that's another option. And straighten your left leg and slide that right arm down the leg. Keep your hand on the outside of the foot or bring it to the inside. Don't go for a bind if that's not within you. It's absolutely not necessary. I sometimes say your body should crave these binds, and sometimes I feel bad for saying it because we should stay away from craving, of course. But what I mean is it should be something that your body is feeling comfortable with, is wanting, because there is that ability to go deeper. And then And hands down, we're coming into Parsvottanasana, or the pyramid, just dropping the head and letting ourselves get heavy. Even if you're much higher, try to get that connection of your belly and your thighs, but then also allow yourself to keep the neck relaxed and dropping the head. And of course, here the deepest version of this, where you're bringing the hands towards the back and holding onto the right calf. And also make sure that your hips are aligned here. So you want to gently push that left hip to the back and the right hip to the front, just as you did in your warrior one. Now hands to the ground, we make our way into our half moon. Hands a bit further forwards, shifting the weight into the left hand to raise the right leg and right arm. Looking down or up, hand on the ground or off. And we'll stay here. And we're coming to the end of the class if you're not subscribed. So inhale, come to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart center. And link in the description if you want more.